Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name's Joe. In this video we will be doing a playthrough of the game The Hunters, German U-Boats at War 1939 to 43. This is from GMT Games and Consim and is designed by Gregory Smith. This was the first game in his now kind of long-running career of creating narrative type solitaire games, and this is going to be an ongoing campaign for me, so I'll try to do each patrol as its own video until such time as I am killed, captured, etc. The campaign ends. If by some extreme stroke of luck I end up making it past the end of this game, I would move it into the Hunted and see how far I can get in that game. So the chances of surviving even through the end of this game are not great, but it is certainly possible. So we're going to give it a crack and see if we can actually get it done. So with an eye towards making the career a little bit longer than otherwise, I'm actually going to take the better of the available U-boats at the start of the campaign here. This is the Type 9A. It carries 22 torpedoes, which makes it significantly better than the 7A, which can only carry 11. So I elected to go with this to begin with, and we'll see how far we can get and what we can do. There are two maps, and this is where you would trace your patrols, and it tells you which boats go with this particular map. The other map is more focused on basically this area here, kind of. So you lose out on some of North America and also the Caribbean, Brazil, and West Africa, and in theory even the Indian Ocean. So the next step after we choose our model is to choose our U-boat number, and the rule book rather comes with a list here of historical U-boat IDs by type and number. And the 9A is here, and it has the U-37 through U-44. So there were 8 of these particular model U-boats available. We'll take U-boat 39. Why not? Just picking somewhat randomly. We'll go with that. Then we would pick our captain's name, and I've already done that. The commandant of the U-39 will be Josef Verhext. And if you speak German, you probably will get the joke. Otherwise, you can look it up. Okay, so in order to save a little time here, I've already kind of laid things out. So our boat is here. It's a Type 9. It is in port in Germany. Now, you also will eventually have access to port in France and Norway. But obviously, in September of 39, that was not yet the case. And then this is the map where we'll trace whatever route we're taking to our assigned patrol area. Here we have our crew quality, which is trained. Over here we have the rank of our commandant, which is Kapitänleutnant. Then we have 4 steam torpedoes loaded in the forward torpedo tubes. In the aft we have 2 loaded and 2 reloads. We have 8 steam reloads in the front, as well as 6 electric reloads in the front. This boat, the 9A type, can only carry 6 electrics. The 7s could carry 5, and they always start as reloads. As far as, you cannot swap between front and aft, or forward and aft rather, and you cannot hot swap. You can only reload. So we can't swap out a steam and stick an electric in there if we want to. We have to wait till we fire that, and then we would reload. So the next thing we're going to do is determine our patrol area, and to do so we roll 2 6-sided dice. So I got some dice right here. We roll and we get an 8. And we look at our chart P1 here, and we are in 1939, and an 8 is British Isles with a number 4 for notes. So this would be Type 7D. Treat all normal British Isles as British Isles M, which is mining. So in this case, that does not affect us. The only note that really affects the Type 9 boat is if we draw Mediterranean or Arctic, that it turns into West African coast. Okay, so now we simply conduct our patrol. Now here's our boat. Now, as far as transit goes, since we're only going to the British Isles, we have all of these here right? So we could go the long way, typically. You could transit through the channel in theory, but we'll transit the long way up through the North Sea. And we're here now, and you see it says transit times 2, so you have to, basically that's 2 checks that you have to perform. So you're going to perform a check at every stage. Now for this, we roll on our encounter chart. So you can see we're in transit, so we're going to roll twice on here. A 2 or 3 will be an aircraft encounter. A 12 would be a ship encounter. So it's unlikely that we're going to see anything, because these 2 and 12 are obviously the least common results on a 2d6 roll. And as I say that, I got a 4. So a 4 is nothing. So that's the first one. Now we roll again. And we get a 7, which is also nothing. So I just realized I'm probably doing this backwards, because we should probably be following the red arrow. So we would have gone from here to the channel and then to here, which is still 2 transit. So I'm just going to swap it down here. We didn't have anything in the transit, so it doesn't really matter. And then from here, we would go up and do the British Isles boxes here, 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 and here. Then 2 transit back to Germany through the North Sea. So we're going to move to our British Isles, and there are 2 here, it says. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, apparently. So this is a longer range boat, and normally on the other chart that the Type 7s use, which has about a little better than half the range of a Type 9, they all of these would be 1s. So they would go the same thing. They would go 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, and back. So a little bit different. They get to stay on station a little longer, essentially. So now we roll again in our encounter on our encounter chart, but we'll use the British Isles column, and as you can see, there's a lot more in here. So we're going to see what we get. We got a 4, and a 4 in the British Isles is actually nothing. So now we have a second one here, and a 7 this time, and a 7 is also nothing. Sorry, that was a little out of frame there. So we move to our next box, and we take 2 cracks here. Quiet patrol so far. We got a 6, so this will be something. 6 here. Ship and escort. All right. Looking at it again, for some reason I thought that was a 6. It's actually a 5, and a 5 is just a ship. So no escort, which makes it a little easier. So the next thing you do is you roll 1d6 to determine night or day. So we'll do this. It's a 2. 2 is day. So we have a day-night marker on our combat mat, which I'll show here in a moment. I'm just going to put the marker on there for now. Now, when it's day, you will be attacking submerged, rather, not on the surface. And next we determine the ship size. So we roll again a 1d6, and we'll find out if we've got a small freighter, a large freighter, or a tanker. And it's a 3, which is a small freighter. Next we roll on our small freighter target roster. So for this we need to roll a d100. So we roll 2 d10s. Whoops. That one didn't actually go through the tower. So that's a 51, and a 51 is the 3,500 ton Baron Pentland. These were all ships that were actually sunk during the war. Okay, so here's our combat mat. So I've zoomed in a little bit, and we're attacking a small freighter. We only have the 1 target. There is no escort. It is daytime, and we are submerged. We're going to fire 2 G7A steam torpedoes at this freighter. Okay, now here's our combat versus escorted ships. We don't have an escort, so we really don't have to worry about that all that much. We can also choose to attack at close range because it's not escorted. If it was escorted, we could still select close range, but we would have to roll for detection. So since there is no escort, we don't have to worry about that. We can just go to close range, and we can fire our torpedoes. Now we do have a chart, of course. So here's our chart, close range. We roll 2d6, 8 or less is a hit, 9 or more is a miss. So you basically have a reasonably good chance. I'm going to take our D6 and I'm going to roll them, and we got a 7. And a 7, of course, is less than 8, so that's a hit. So torpedo 1 is a hit. So we know we have 1 hit, and now we'll roll for the second torpedo, and that's a 12, which is a miss. So we did get 1 hit. Now we have to resolve the whether or not it's a dud. So 1939, it was a steam. We roll 1d6. If it's a 1 or 2, it's a dud. So we'll roll, and it's a 4, so it is a hit. Then we roll on our damage chart, and this is also 1d6, and we got a 5, and a 4 or more is 1 damage. So we would move this up to there. Both of these are now expended, so I would remove them. Now we can attack again if we wish to. And we do, because we want to sink this guy. We've already hit him once, so if we can hit him one more time, we'll sink him. So, of course, even though our ship is unescorted, now that we've hit him and there was, there's combat and they have radios and all that stuff, we have to check for our additional round of combat whether we get an escort now. So, again, it's 2d6. A 2 or 3 is an escort, and a 4 or 5 is an aircraft will show up. Die roll modifiers, we don't have any of these in effect right now because it's only 1939. We're going to roll, and we need anything higher than a 5. And we got a 4. So that's not good. So we got an aircraft. So now we have an aircraft encounter. So actually, I messed that up. If we were surfaced, we would be eligible to be seen by aircraft. So the rule book says if the result is escort, the ships are now considered to be under escort, and escort detection is required immediately. If the result is aircraft, the U-boat must abort the attack, dive immediately. But what if I'm already submerged? That's what I don't understand. Well, I guess I'm gonna do it. You need to roll a 6 or more for a successful crash, dive, no air attack. This doesn't make sense to me because we were already submerged. And we rolled a 10, so we're gonna just attack again. And since I'm already submerged, I'm gonna just use 2 torpedoes again. No reloads, just what's already in the tubes. So 2 G7s again. So we're gonna roll. So again, close range, we need an 8 or less. We got a 2 on the first one, and we again got a miss on the second one. So now we roll for damage. We roll a d6, and we got a 5, which is 1 more damage. So we sunk the freighter. So these 2 have been expended as well. So now on my log sheet, I will write down that we sunk the Baron Pentland of 3,500 tons. And that will conclude our combat for this one, and we'll roll again for our next possible encounter. Okay, so we have 1 more for this box, and we get a 10, and a 10 is a convoy. So as you can see right there, British Isles, 10, convoy. All right, so a convoy, you roll 4 times for each ship size and ID, and the convoy has an escort. All right, so we roll 4 times for ship size and ID. So first one is a 1, that is a small freighter. Second one is a 6, which is a tanker. So we have a small freighter and a tanker. So let me just tanker, small freighter. We'll do the last 2 together. A 1 and a 5. So that's a second small freighter. And a 5 is a large freighter. So those are our 4 targets. Okay, so let's roll for our target sizes here. So our small freighter 64 is the 2,400 ton Torney. Our second target is the tanker. That is a 60, and that is the 6,900 ton British Viscount. Our third target is another small freighter. 84 is the 3,300 ton Balladeer. And our fourth target, 34 large freighter, is the 42,300 ton Empress of Britain. Holy smokes, that's a big one. We're definitely trying to sink that guy. 42,000 tons. That is the biggest, yeah, it's the biggest target on here. That is a massive ship. Holy cow. All right. All right, I have elected to attempt from long range, or medium range rather, and use electric torpedoes, which don't leave bubbles, because there's a +1 DRM when you are rolling for escort detection and you're using the steam torpedoes because they make bubbles. So the first thing we have to do is determine night or day, which we did not do yet. So we roll 1d6 for that. There's a 4, which indicates that it is actually night. Now, that actually means that I could have used my steam torpedoes, but it's okay. It's all right. I'm still going to stay submerged as well. I'm not going to do a surface attack with escorts around. So once we've done that, we will now roll to so determine day or night. We did that. I kind of did that out of order, so apologies for that. Select range. All right, if not detected at short or not using short range, select submerged attack or night attack. We're doing, or night surface attack rather. We're doing a submerged attack. I've already assigned my torpedoes. Now we're going to fire our torpedoes at the target. So we are at medium range. We need a 7 or less, and we do get a +1 for using a G7E, the electric, at medium range. And we rolled a 10 for the first one. That is a miss. We roll a 10 for the second one. That is also a miss. We roll an 8 for the third one. That is also a miss. And this is really not going well at all. And we rolled a 9 for the fourth one, which is also a miss. All those rolls were high, but there was also a -1 for night or surface. So we fired now. Escorts attempt detection. Decide if U-boat will exceed test depth. Not available for first round if night surface attack. We will not. We will not exceed test depth. So we're rolling on our chart E2, which is this guy right here. So 8 or less is undetected. We have to do close range. We're not doing close range. So our die roll modifiers, the only one that would actually work is none of these. None of these work. We got no modifier, so we just have a natural 8 or less. And we got a 5. Wasn't showing the rolls, but we got a 5. So we are undetected, which means we can try again. Now I'm down to 2 electric torpedoes. But we're going to try again. If no targets were damaged, if encounter was a ship or convoy, U-boat may attempt to follow. Roll 1d6 success. On a 4 or less, we got a 1. So we successfully followed. So we get to try again. And we go back to step 1. Roll 1d6 for day or night. We got a 2 this time, so it's now daytime, which is not what we were hoping to get. Okay, so we have to redraw our 4 ships, so we're going to start doing that. So Again, 1 to 3 small freighter, 4 5 large freighter, 6 tanker. We'll put this right here so you can see what we get. The 6 is another tanker. So I'm just going to draw the types first, then we'll figure out what they are. So I'm just going to put that there because we don't know the size yet. Now the second ship is a 3. That is a small freighter. So we know small freighter will go there. Now we'll roll target 3. Another small freighter. And target 4. Another small freighter. All right. So now we'll draw what they are using our target sheets. So we'll start with our tanker. 18 is the 9,000 ton Eli Knutsen. So that's a smaller tanker, and it's going to go here. So the 9,000 ton Eli Knutsen is our first one. Our second target is a small freighter. It is 21. That is the 2,400 ton Mardinian. 39 is the 5,000 ton Pandias. And our fourth target is 48, 4,500 ton Cape Rodney. Okay, our next step, optional switch to night. So I can roll one die. If it's a 1 to 4, it's successful and we can go to night. If it is not, if it's a 5 or 6, the encounter ends. It's a 2, so we did switch to night. I'd rather attack at night. Okay, select range. We're going to go with medium again. And now select submerged. We're going to go submerged. Assign torpedoes to target ship. So let's attack the tanker. It requires 3 hits to sink. I'm going to hit it with 3. I'm going to attack with 3 steam torpedoes and an electric from the 4 forward tubes. And we'll attack the small freighter. We'll attack the big one is the Pandias, which is target 3. So we'll attack that with 2 torpedoes from the aft tubes. Fire torpedoes. So again, we'll do the steam ones first. I only have the 1 electric in there. So we're going to do steam. So steam from medium range, 7 or less is a hit. We get no modifiers. We get a -1 for night. Oh, God, I rolled a 10. So rolled a 10, so that is a miss with the first steam. I can't hit these tankers. This is killing me. That time we got a 7, so that's a hit. So we have 1 hit. 1 hit. Now we'll roll the other steam. 6, that's another hit. So that's 2 hits. And now the electric. Also a 6. So we got 3 hits, which isn't enough to sink it, even if they're not duds. But we do have 3 hits. Now we'll roll the 2 against the small freighter here. 2, that's a hit. And a 9, which is not a hit. So 1 hit against the freighter and 3 hits against the tank. Oh, 3 hits is enough to sink it if they're not duds. So let me move this over here so you guys can see the rolls. I know I wasn't doing that before. Torpedo dud chart. So we roll 1d6, a 1 or a 2 with the steam. We had 2 steam hits and the electric hit. So the first of 2 steams, that is a dud. So now it's 2 hits. Second one is also a dud, and the electric's a dud on a 1 through 3, and it's not. So they get 1 hit. 1 hit. Fantastic. Now the freighter also was hit by 1, and it was hit by a steam. And it rolled a 5, so that is a hit. It is a hit. And okay, so we've got our hits. Now we have to determine our damage. So actually, let's move this back. I forgot about the damage step. All right, so for damage, a 1 is a 4 damage, a 2 is a 3 damage, 3 is a 2 damage, anything over 4 is 1. So we got a 1. So that 1 hit is 4 damage, and that sinks our tanker. So we did successfully sink the tanker. Now we'll roll here. If we can get a 3 or less, we'll sink it. And we got a 3. So we sank 2 ships. And now, as long as the escorts don't get us, we'll be amscraying out of here. So let me mark down that we sank these guys. So we got the Eli Newton. Is that what that was? Well, anyway, it's a 9,000 ton. We got that guy, and we got the Pandias for 5,000 tons. So those are 2 that we sank. So we're now up to 1,700, 500 tons on this particular patrol. So now we need to roll for detection. So escorts detection, decide if U-boat will exceed test depth. So we're not doing that. Roll for detection on the E2 chart. So here's our E2 chart again, right? 8 or less, undetected. Then you have die roll modifiers. These do not apply. None of these apply because it was a surface. We used the G7A torpedo, but it's a night. And so, yeah, none of those. Ugh. And it's an 8. 8 or less is undetected. So that will end our combat, and I'm going to take off now. Okay, so back on our patrol sheet here, we're going to move to the next box. And we got an 8 and an 8 on the encounter chart. The British Isles is a ship, single ship. So we can find out what it is. So let's do that. Let's roll what it is. It's unescorted. It's a 3, so that is a small freighter. You know what? Let's attack it. Why not? So the first thing we have to do now is roll for day or night. And it's a 3, so that is day. So let me flip this to day. Now we'll roll for ship size. It is a 3. That is a small freighter. Okay, so we got another small freighter if we want to take it. You don't have to attack. You can always decide not to attack. So we would then move to day and decide if we want to go to night. So let's try to go to night. We don't, so it's day. It says encounter ends. So we tried to wait for night, and he got away basically. So we'll now roll for our second encounter in that zone. We got a 7 again, and a 7, as it was last time, is no encounter. So we'll move up. Oh, I forgot to zoom out. I'm sorry. I thought you guys could see these rolls. All right. I apologize. I was not zoomed out so you could see the rolls. All right. We got a 6, and a 6 again is a ship and escort. I'm going to pass. I'm not even going to roll for what it is and everything. We're just going to pass, I think, because I don't want to be attacked at this point. So now we have a second one here. That is, again, a 6. I'm going to do the same thing and decline. Now we'll go to transit, and we get a 5, and a 5 is a ship. So we can... Oh, wait, transit 5 is nothing. Sorry, I was looking in the wrong... Still looking in the British Isles column. And our second one is a 6, and that is also nothing. So we have returned to port. And that completes our patrol. And our first patrol, I would say, was a nice success. We got a 3,500 ton small freighter, the Baron Pentland. We missed out on our golden opportunity to get the Empress of Britain. But we did end up getting the Eli Knudsen for 9,000 tons, as well as, and that's a tanker, as well as a small freighter Pandias for 5,000 tons, giving us a total for that particular patrol of 17,500 tons. If I were just playing solo, I may have pushed the envelope a little bit, but as I said, I want to keep these videos relatively short. And make sure I get back to port alive, if possible, also undamaged. So now that we've completed our patrol and returned to base, so you always have 1 month of refit when you complete a patrol, and it gets extended if you have damage and injuries and so on and so forth. In our case, we came back unscathed, so we just get a 1 month refit. So October of 39, we're just going to mark an R in the patrol box to indicate refit, and then our next patrol will be in November. So here is the patrol sheet. You can see the top, we've got British Isles was our patrol, Baron Pentland, 3,500 tons was sunk. I just noted 4 ships that we didn't damage on our one attack there. That included the British Empire, Empress of Britain. Then we had Eli Knudsen that we sunk at 9,000 tons. It was a tanker. I put a little T next to it. And I wrote an S on top. Over here is the Pandias that we also sunk for 5,000. Our total 17,500. We got an R for refit. Our next patrol, so our next video, will take place in November of 39. This is U-39. Josef Verhext is our commandant. And that will do it for this one. So thank you for watching. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, etc. I do appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed this and that I didn't mess it up too much. But if I did, then we'll, as we go on, I'll learn and get better. Anyway, so thank you, as always, for watching. And until next time, my name's Joe. This is Hexed Encountered. And as always, happy gaming.